Hi, and welcome to the Beyond the Falls podcast. My name is Sarah Jenkins, and today I've got Tom Vogler with Sleep in Heavenly Peace. So welcome.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good. I'm excited to have you on. I've recently learned about this program, and I'm very excited to hear more about it. So, but what I like to start out with is I want you to tell us, what is your connection to River Falls?
Okay, so I've been in River Falls quite a while now. I came and was in some businesses and worked in construction. And when I was working in construction, it was one of these things where it's very weather related, and the first snowflake in November, you could shut down construction for the rest of the year. So I never had my own business. I was working for somebody all the time. I got some information in the mail at one time, and it was about carpet cleaning. And it was one of these things that I kind of looked at it and I set it aside. And about 6 months later, I picked it up and I said, let's go for it. I had never cleaned a carpet. I had no database. I had no equipment. I knew nothing about it. I said one thing. I said, when I go to clean carpet, when I get your carpet as clean as I can get it, I leave. And I've kept that theory from day one to 19 years later.
I was just going to say, I know you've been in business for a while.
Yes. So.
And what's the name of your business?
Superior Carpet Cleaning.
Awesome. And if we wanted to get a hold of you, what's your number?
612-859-6098.
Awesome. And anyone can call. You serve residential, commercial?
I clean carpet, I clean furniture, I strip and wax linoleum floors, I detail interior vehicles, which means I do all the interior and all the glass.
Awesome.
Nothing on the outside. I come to your place.
So convenient.
Put your car in the middle of the driveway and give me an source of electricity, and I got the rest.
Awesome.
So yes.
I love that.
And I do, like I said, I do residential, commercial apartments. I'm not going to tell you how far I go. I always say, you find the carpet, I'll decide.
All right.
So I'll go quite a ways.
But definitely River Falls.
Oh, I have no problem going within an hour of River Falls.
Okay.
Which takes you quite a ways.
Yes, it does.
Take you to Eau Claire to a long ways.
Definitely.
All the way over the cities and way past Maple Grove and whatever. So
yeah, I was like, that's quite a sprawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're here because we're going to focus on Sleep in Heavenly Peace. It's a really neat program. Let's start out by, what is Sleep in Heavenly Peace?
Sleep in Heavenly Peace is a nonprofit where volunteers build beds, deliver beds to kiddos 3 to 17 that don't have their own bed. Mm-hmm. So if they're sleeping on the floor, in the corner, on a box with grandma, mom, dad, that means they don't have their own bed.
Yep.
They would qualify for a bed from Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
And you guys, if you were in need of a bed, how would you go about?
Okay, so all beds are, you need to apply online.
Okay.
Which is shpbeds.org.
Okay.
And that will take you right to a website, and you can apply. The family can apply, somebody on your behalf, a social service, a church, someone else, or just somebody that might think that they might need one.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's different avenues of getting it. Each one is, but it all has to be done online.
Okay.
And the only criteria is that they're 3 to 17 and they don't have a bed of their own.
Yep.
And the beds are completely delivered. They're delivered with a mattress.
Yeah.
Sheets, pillow, comforter.
Yeah.
And all it is, they're ready to jump in bed.
Yeah.
So it's
Not
all
just
set.
the bed frame, it's
The whole
everything
thing,
you
yes.
need. Yeah, that's
They're
amazing.
all, this is the size of the bed, so that's a twin bed. They're either a single or a bunk,
Okay,
and that's it. But that's the way they're done. They're delivered and they're put together. We don't take pieces in the house and set them in the corner.
yep,
They must have a spot where the bed can be set up, and we set it all up.
wow,
And we try to incorporate the kids coming in to help,
yep,
because that's pretty exciting for them.
Yeah.
To get a new bed and to help set up the bed, that's
Yeah.
pretty precious.
it is.
Yes.
Sleep in Heavenly Peace is a national organization,
Yes, it is.
and you are specifically with the St. Croix County chapter?
We are referred to as the Wisconsin St. Croix chapter.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There are between 450 and 500 chapters in the United States. And this was started in 2012. At the end of 2024, they had gone over 500,000 beds built and delivered.
Wow.
This
that's
last year,
amazing.
it was about 75,000 beds that were built.
Wow.
So they're increasing fast.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
incredible.
Yes.
And there's a definite need for it in our community.
Statistics say that there are about 3%
Okay.
that don't have their own bed.
Yeah.
And if you take River Falls, Richmond, Hudson, surrounding area, it would be fairly easy to get to 100,000 people. That's 3,000 beds.
Yeah. It's a lot.
We got a long ways to go.
Yeah. Tell me the process of, I mean, you guys build the beds. You do have some exciting news you probably want to share.
Yes, we just got a place to store our equipment, all our tools, the beds as we make them. So we make the bed frames like this. There's also the side rails that come out from here.
Yeah.
And so there's a headboard, footboard, 2 side rails, and then the slats that go along the bottom.
Yep.
And if it is a bunk bed, then there's a safety rail that comes across. That's what that hole is on the
yeah,
top.
nice.
So that's for the safety rail.
Yep.
So when we build them, we take them into the house in pieces. We don't take them in all
Yeah.
set up.
Yeah.
So we walk in with pieces, put them all together. So we've got that storage for that kind of stuff. So right now there's 17 beds we have built. They're stored at my place. Actually, we got 16. We delivered one last week.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then we got our tools, and then I've got quite a bit of bedding that I have also.
Yeah.
So, and we received, there was a bedding drive around Christmas. Scott Morissette from First National
Yes.
Bank set up one, and he called me about around Christmas or a little after. They had 62 items that they had
Wow.
collected.
That's amazing.
Yes, so it's been amazing. It is a community problem, and it needs a community solution.
There you go.
So, yes.
I didn't ask this, but tell me how you got involved with it. Like, what was your inspiration, or how'd you hear about it, or?
Okay, so I read about 5 different papers online. I'm originally from Chippewa Falls, and I read the Chippewa, the Eau Claire, the River Falls, the Pierce, and the Hudson. So quickly, all of them, I don't spend a lot of time, but at one time I was looking at the Chippewa paper, and there was this big spread, and saws and people and sawhorses. It's like, so obviously brought my attention to that article, and I read it. And that was Sleep in Heavenly Peace. They were building in a parking lot at Central Lutheran Church in Chippewa Falls. They were building beds at that time in that parking lot.
Wow.
So I read this article, and of course, all good articles have a website that you can check it out and see what's going on. And I looked at it, and I said, we need one of these.
Yeah.
So fast forward a ways, actually it was about a year ago, that I got started. I was looking for a place around, the closest one to River Falls, and it was Dunn County in Menominee. So I got a hold of their chapter president, and I asked her, I said, I want to donate money to Sleep in Heavenly Peace, but I want it to stay in St. Croix County. She said, we are having a bed build. Why don't you come and see what it's like? This was put on by the Women's Construction Group of Stout.
Oh.
So last year, about this time, a little bit later, I went over to my first bed build, and they were building beds at University of Wisconsin Stout at the technology lab, and it was put on by those young ladies. So that was the start of it. And
Awesome.
so I got in there, and they come in with a pile of lumber on one end, and they go through all the situations, and it comes out to this.
Awesome.
So they cut the boards there. We cut them. They're drilled. They're sanded. Sanding is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Then these are put together. This is all put down. There's a form that they fit into. So pretty much anybody can do it. It tells exactly which boards go in which place and everything. So it's like if you pick up a board and try to fit it in there and it doesn't fit, it doesn't belong there.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong there. So they have it very well structured, and everything is laid out exactly what you should do, and they have it all marked. And one side you do the side rails. At the end, these things, and somebody will say, "Has this been stained?" Okay, so they're dipped in a solution of vinegar and steel wool.
Oh. We
We have this large enough thing that we can set this down flat in it.
Yep.
And this stuff, there's probably 50 to 65 gallons in there. It's set in there like 15 seconds. It's to prevent bed bugs.
Sure.
And it also gives it that quick stain. So in 15 seconds, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And so it gives you a stained look. Obviously, whatever kind of wood it is, it stains differently. We know that from any kind of wood.
Yep.
But that's the way it is. And then we stamp our SHP on there,
Yeah.
Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and we're all set to go.
That's awesome. If you're interested in maybe becoming more involved with Sleep in Heavenly Peace, how would you go about that, and what would that look like?
You can contact me,
Okay.
612
Yep.
859-6098. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd be glad to talk, glad to meet with you. I was at, last week I was at Roberts Lions. I was at the Moose, River Falls Moose
Yeah.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
And tonight I'm going to Hudson Lions. And each one of them I show them what Sleep in Heavenly Peace is and see if we can generate some interest.
Yeah.
Each place I've gone, this last place, they're eager to help with delivering.
Oh,
They
that's
said,
awesome.
"Oh, we could get a delivery crew ready."
Oh,
So we need people that want to help volunteer to build, to do delivering. We have a Facebook page, excuse me.
Yep.
And that the person that does that, I'm sure, would certainly relinquish it, because the social marketing is a huge, huge part.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody really has a background in that, we could, because they can do so much.
Yeah.
And we know how important that is.
Yeah.
So we're looking for those people, looking for people that want to go out and talk to people and fundraise, basically. We're looking for people that want to sponsor a bed build. Sponsoring a bed build means that you're going to sponsor, so like Stout did.
yep.
That was put on by a family in Menominee that had parents died, and there was a bunch of money put away, and they put on 2 last summer, and they're putting on again this year. So it's something that they're giving back to the community.
Yeah.
So we're looking for something just like that around here, that where somebody wants to sponsor a bed build, which is a minimum of 20 beds. That's complete bed, and that includes the mattress, the sheets, the comforter, the pillow, the whole works.
Yeah.
The comforters, air quilts, whichever you want to call it, are usually handmade.
Wow.
And then that requires a donation of $5,000 for 20 beds.
For 20 beds,
For
okay.
20 beds, yes.
That's awesome. And so when you do make the beds, you have, I don't know, an event like this where you're assembling and getting them ready, how many volunteers do you need? I'm just curious.
Right. Oh, absolutely. 20 to 25 is a good number.
Wow.
Because at that same time, then we would have our core people, which is our 8 or 9, 10 people that know and can show people what to do at each station. We kind of show them what to do, the safety part and things like that.
Yeah.
And if you get 20 to 25 people, you can take in a load of lumber on one end and take them out at the other end, and it'll be less than 3 hours. And you'll have 20 beds all ready to go.
That's amazing. That's you really have the system down, because there's not much time to create 20 beds.
Right, and it's a lot of sanding, but we have tables set up for sanding. There's usually four people sanding at a table, and they're 16 sanders would be a good number for 20 beds. There's 27 boards in a bed.
Okay.
And 16 of those need to be sanded.
Sure.
So it's a huge part of it.
Yep.
And we want them sanded.
Yeah.
Not, it's a quick sand. Usually we have pretty good lumber. So when we sand them, that's not a big job, but yet it has to be done.
Yep.
And you don't want little kiddos getting slivers.
Right.
Slivers and cuts and things like that from our beds. So that's why they're sanded. They're drilled. They're all taken care of, and they just go through the assembly line, and it's quite a process.
That's efficient. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yes, it's fun to watch.
And how do you get your volunteers for when you're?
Okay, so when we get down to so obviously we need somebody that wants to sponsor a bed build.
Yep.
We find out when that is. We find out the date, where it's going to be, times. There's 2 different ways of doing it. I've worked for different places. Example, I worked for Northwestern State Bank in Chippewa Falls. They had sort of a private build. Most of the people that evening that were there were people that volunteered through the bank.
The bank, okay.
Now, let's say that they got 15 of them and still needed more. Okay, then they'd come to us and say, okay, can you find the other ones that we need?
Okay.
So you could either do the whole thing on your own if you want.
Yeah.
They still have to go through us, because every person before they touch a tool has to sign a form, indemnification form, obviously releasing sleep in heavenly peace of any injuries, anything. And but that's the way it works.
Yeah.
So then they would sign up, and when you sign up, then you sign that form. So when you show up that day to work, we see your name, you're all checked in, ready to go. You're good.
Yeah.
And they work. So
ready to work.
So in each one of these places where I have been going, and I've probably gone to 10 different places, if you count Chamber of Commerce's, Lunch and Learn, different things that go on, and I try to get to as many as I can. I've pretty much had every single group has said, I'd like to help volunteer when it comes to that point.
Yeah.
So I keep a kind of a track of who was interested, and a little sheet and things like that. And so each one is, a different degree of interest, but some are very, very interested. And so then they will, on some, I went to the Roberts quilting group, and they incorporated the men's group. The pastor was there, and some other people from the church were there. I talked to all of them. And when I was talking to them, they got me involved in Roberts Lions, and that's where I went last week.
Oh.
So I've got the Roberts Lions, the Cross Lutheran Church, the quilting group, and so I'm trying, pretty much all of Roberts covered.
Yeah, spreading the word, that's for sure.
Yeah, and they're very interested, and they figure that between the three groups, they will be doing something.
Yeah, oh, that's amazing.
So they're very, very interested.
Yeah.
And we talk about the Lions group. The Lions in Dunn County in Menominee pretty much run the show there.
Okay.
They first heard about it and said they found a need right off the bat, and so things are stored at the Lions shed in Menominee, and they're also that's where they built.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
yeah, and going back to ours, we now have a hangar that we can store our stuff, and it's out off from F. So they have a place where we can store things, and when it comes to building, it's a big garage, 3 garage doors wide. So 2 of those, they can clear it out, and that's what we can use for a bed build. So
That's
we're
awesome.
inside, we're protected. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, our weather, we can't be out in the rain.
Right.
For whatever reasons. You know, we got electricity, you're not going to put people out in the rain. Would be a disaster.
Yeah.
So we need a option B. So that's what we have. So
That's awesome.
we'll be moving our
exciting.
stuff out. Yes, very exciting. Yes. So
What are other ways the community can support Sleep in Heavenly Peace?
right now we are in need of mattresses.
Okay.
And the mattresses, we have a fairly extensive Facebook page, Sleep in Heavenly Peace, St. Croix County.
Okay.
There is the Facebook page there, and it has a link to Walmart, and it has a link to Amazon, right to those mattresses. So you click on those, it goes right to the mattress. You can purchase that. They're sent right straight to my house.
Awesome.
So you don't have to touch them. They have to do anything.
Make it nice
right
and
there.
easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
No thinking about the size. It's just
it's
what
right.
you need is there.
We have one picked out on Amazon. We have one picked out on Walmart.
Yep.
So you can't make a mistake.
Yeah.
Just click and go. Click and go, and it'll be sent right to my house.
Awesome.
Yes.
As we're kind of wrapping up, is there anything else that maybe I missed that you'd like to share?
Anyone that wants to just send a check, send money, that can be sent to my home also. The checks, make sure they're written out to Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
Yep.
So those things.
Yeah.
And we had 2 little kids last week that saved their Christmas money to buy a 5-piece bed set and a comforter.
Wow.
And I went out and I took their pictures with them. So that's on our Facebook page.
Oh.
2 little kids that saved their Christmas money.
That's
and that
amazing.
was pretty special.
Yeah, very. Wow.
So we have different things coming in. Checks every once in a while, not knowing where they're coming. I had gone to a Chamber of Commerce meeting in New Richmond and mentioned the things, and I've received 2 mattresses from that group.
Oh.
Everyone, all of a sudden they got Tom, you'll be getting, it's
Yeah.
being sent, it should be there, so be on the look. So very nice.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, it's
And
wonderful.
then anybody that would like to be more involved in it.
Yeah.
And each time we go, like this last group, they wanted to more than volunteer, they wanted to deliver. So, and once they start to deliver, they're probably going to think, oh, I'd like to do a little more. And obviously those are the types of people we're looking for that want to go a little bit beyond, help us out. Starting a nonprofit is starting a business.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of a different thing, but it boils down to that.
Yeah.
So there's pretty much the same things that you need, and we're looking for people that are gung-ho over this, getting people off the floor.
Yep.
Because the motto is, no kid in our town, no kid in our town sleeps on the floor.
Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for all you're doing for our community.
Awesome.
I just appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yep. We'll see you on the next episode of Beyond the Falls.